1, 2, 3, 4.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.
What up, y'all? It's Babylon 5 Podcast. It's your boy, Jermaine Event. How are you guys doing? How has your week been? It's Christmas, if you fuck niggas choose to celebrate that shit. Hopefully it was as merry and fucking jolly or as Joseph as you niggas need it to be. This is episode 175. I'm calling this bad boy Sick and Tired, ladies and gentlemen. This episode is Sick and Tired. I'm sick and tired. I was saying last week, I was like, man, I'm going to try to do this episode quickly because I've been in the studio too long and I feel like it's just, I get stuffy or some shit from being in this room for too long. I was saying last week that I feel like I'm starting to get stuffy and whatnot, and I thought it was because of the room. Turns out a nigga tested positive for COVID on Tuesday. Monday I woke up. Right, Sunday I'm like, maybe I'm getting stuffy from being in this room too long. And I go to bed like kind of early Sunday night. My goal was to get to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was going to get up at like 4. And my plan was to be at the building at 5 o'clock in the morning. But I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, just fucking shivering, like very visibly like shaking, shivering pretty bad, freezing. Just the coldest I've been in so long. But I'm wearing like multiple layers of clothing. Like I got sweatpants and all kind. I'm wearing a hoodie, t-shirt, like all kinds of shit. And I'm under like 2 or 3 layers of fucking bed sheets and like a weighted blanket, and I'm fucking freezing cold. I can't get warm, yet at the same time I'm sweating like hot tamale. I was sweating, or that's my edited version that I would say at work back in the day. Pop tamale, I'm sweating. Woo, is how I felt. It was like, holy fuck, I can't get right, ladies and gentlemen. I can't seem to get right is how I felt. And I'd feel pretty great if you guys wanted to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at Babylon5Podcast@gmail.com if you guys would like to hit that like button anywhere that you're listening to this podcast. I'd appreciate it so much. If you guys would like to watch your boy on Twitch, head on over to twitch.tv/Babylon5. If you guys would like to cop some merchandise, head on over to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche, be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. You can be my patrons. But as I was saying with this COVID shit, Monday I wake up like 2 o'clock in the morning, just shivering. I can't calm my body down, and I'm just really cold. And so I'm like, shit, like hours go by of me just continuously shivering and trying to put more clothes on. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put more clothes on. This is how cold I am, even though I'm just sweating pretty profusely. And then eventually, like, I switched my work schedule around because I was like, yeah, I can't go to work today. Today's gonna have to be a day off. And I like threw up like shortly. Like my wife eventually went to work. Like it's like hours go by. My wife gets up, leaves for work. I puke. And I'm just like, yeah, this is fucking. I feel terrible. So like, today isn't gonna work. I thought I could rest the day, drink some water, drink my fluids, and just try to sleep it off, and I could be 100% the next day. Next day comes around, I'm still pretty fucking cold, and I'm just tired as fuck. Just really tired. And I jokingly said to my wife, I was like, I wish it wasn't the flu. I wish I could have got some COVID, because, like, everybody I've ever heard talk about COVID, they're like, oh, I lost all this weight from COVID. I was like, yeah, I could use a little bit of COVID right now. Just drop a quick 20 pounds or something. Is what I jokingly said. My wife takes the cue and then goes and grabs one of the mini the home tests we have, and I begrudgingly take that shit. I was like, I'm not sticking that shit up to my fucking brain. But apparently that's like an exaggeration. Niggas don't need to do that. You just need to stick it up your nose, but it needs to just mainly, you keep it in there for like 30 seconds, and it needs to get some of the mucus all over it. And my test came back immediately positive for COVID. So then that turned into CDC guidelines. Nigga, you can't go to work for the next, like, you gotta, like, from 5 days. So since I fucking felt sick Monday, it was like, well, you can't go back to work till Saturday. So I had to be home. Just feeling like I was dying, ladies and gentlemen. There's moments in there with this. This is my first time really having COVID. And there was moments in there where I was feeling like, man, if I fall asleep right now, I don't know if I'm gonna wake up. Like, my body felt crazy. It felt like death inside of my body. And at the same time, it also felt like one of the craziest hangovers I've ever had. It was just like, I was just real dizzy. I'm trying to walk, but I feel like I'm falling over. My body's sore. I got this just death-like headache. Like the inside of my body just feels dead. It felt like just a nasty hangover. It's like, dude, I haven't drank alcohol in weeks, ladies and gentlemen. This is a pretty wicked feeling there. But yeah, there's definitely a few moments there where I felt like if I fall asleep here, I'm gonna fucking die. And it was pretty fucking whack and lonely the first 2 days. My wife was trying her best to not get sick. So she was like trying to stay out of the room. I was like in quarantine. And she was like sleeping in the living room. And it was pretty whack. I was bored. I hated everything about it. And then she finally tested positive. Like, unfortunately, to test positive, because I don't wish this shit on anybody. But she finally tested positive, and then it was like, all right, we kicking it. All right, we about to finish this Game of Thrones. We finished I binged through Game of Thrones since there wasn't much else that we could do other than just be sick and be tired, because I was just very low energy. It was like, I went to work Saturday and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling the best I have, but then like maybe an hour into it, it just like hit me again. Like, I was like, fuck, I'm tired as fuck. I feel like I could pass out. It just like hit me like an hour into it, and I just like took a second to just try to just catch my breath and just focus. Just just take it easy. But trying to work like I normally do, and I was exhausted like an hour and a half into it. But then, I got through the day. I did what I needed to do. And I was feeling like it wasn't too terrible like yesterday. And I woke up today, Christmas morning or whatever, feeling absolutely terrible. I felt like I did either Monday morning or Tuesday. I'd say a mix of whenever I threw up. Because once again this morning, I wake up and I feel like my body feels like death, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like exhausted, not just tired this morning. I felt like so out of it. And my stomach just felt weird. And this was going on for a little bit, and I'd be like, yo, I need to get up. I didn't want to like just stay in bed. It was like 7. So I'm like, yo, I gotta get up. The first time I got up, it was probably like 5. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just get up and get my day started since I'm up. But when I tried to stand up, I felt like I was going to throw up. And my stomach just felt crazy. And I like was up for a little bit, and it was just like, nah, you feel terrible right now is what I'm thinking. Is like, dude, I'm just going to lay back down, try to sleep a bit. And then I got up later. Stomach still felt crazy. Tried to stay up for a little bit, drank like some water, and then like I ate a little bit of breakfast. And I was sitting there drinking water, and then it was like, nah, I gotta go to the bathroom or something. And like as I'm walking into the bathroom, I just like fucking projectile vomit, man. This is like forceful. Like it just like shot out of my body. I've never threw up like that. I had no real control. Threw up all over that fucking bathroom. Had to clean that shit up. That was how my Christmas morning started. I just puked all over the place. Cleaned that up. It was like, yo, let me go lay down again. And I ended up sleeping, it seemed like, for hours. Like, I think I woke up, it was like 2. It was like 2 something. Like, I was like, holy fuck, dude, I'm out of it. I felt so terrible. Even right now, I don't feel the best. We're not doing any video today because I was just like, fuck, dude. Today is not a good day. I'm definitely still feeling this fucking COVID. Unfortunately, yeah, today was a rough day. That's why we're calling this bad boy Sick and Tired. Because your boy is coming into this one sick and tired. And so I was hoping my goal was to even like maybe dig more into like the fight cards. Like just like really pick out some of my favorite fights from the year, but like just with how I felt like I was dying, I didn't really get into everything as in depth as I wanted. But we can talk about some things here, ladies and gentlemen. Babylon 5 podcast male fighter of the year goes to none other than remember the name Bilal Muhammad, ladies and gentlemen. He is this year's fighter of the year for whatever it's worth. You got this year he defeated Sean Brady via TKO, gave Sean Brady his very first loss. He also, in very convincing fashion, defeats red hot Vicente Luque. He defeated Stephen Thompson last year. He defeated Damian Maia last year. He went in there and had a no contest because of the eye poke that he suffered from now champion Leon Edwards. But he's been in there with Leon Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. Bilal Muhammad has really looked like he has turned that page. He's a sure contender at 185 pounds. I see no reason with a body of work of what we've seen from Bilal Muhammad, how he is not first ballot fighter of the year, ladies and gentlemen. So for me, male fighter of the year is Bilal Muhammad. Female fighter of the year. And you guys could probably, like as I'm saying, I didn't really get a chance to really go in there. This was honestly like I was thinking like who from what I remember this year that I would put there, and then I was trying to see like is there some fights there to back that up? And I feel like there is. My female fighter of the year is Miss Alexa Grasso. All right, Alexa Grasso has defeated Viviane Araujo in the main event that we recently saw her in. She also defeated Joanne Wood, formerly Joanne Calderwood, via first round rear naked choke. So Grasso has really stepped her game up. She defeated Macy Barber last year, Ji Yeon Kim last year. She had a majority decision loss to former two-time champion Carla Esparza. But I feel like Alexa Grasso has really shown her improvements. She's obviously a future fighter title challenger. Potentially, she's the next fight for Valentina Shevchenko with with Erin Blanchfield fighting Tyler Santos next. There's a good chance we have Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko for the belt next. And I think everything that we've seen, the improvements that we've seen from Alexa Grasso, tells me that she is the 2022 female fighter of the year. And keep in mind, we're just talking UFC here. No disrespect to all the other fighters out there, but we're just talking about what most motherfuckers would if you're into fighting even a little bit. These are the names you're gonna know, rather than if I pull out a fucking PFL guy. You know what I'm saying? People aren't gonna know. I could give Pacheco female fighter of the year. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Let's give Pacheco female fighter of the year for defeating Kayla Harrison after losing twice to her previously. In the third fight, gets a victory. So shout out to Pacheco. Shout out to people, and shout out to every other fight promotion. All right, every other fight promotion. When I look at the fights that I think of like fight of the year, see, I really wanted to go through those cards, but as I'm saying, I was pretty sick here. The fights of the year that I would say are between... I really like Yuri Glover. I think that's on the level of fight of the year. But for me, I would say my fight of the year... Well, I'll say another fight that I would say would be up there is Volkanovski versus Holloway 3. That's up there for fight of the year. And I say Volkanovski is definitely up there for fighter of the year. He had a great year. Let's not overlook what Alexander Volkanovski has done. So his fight with Holloway could definitely be up there as fight of the year. But I think the fight that I think is fight of the year is Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. All right. That fight, we have the undefeated Khamzat, who looked fucking untouchable coming into that fight, having a fucking war with Gilbert Burns. One of the most, Burns knocked him down a couple times. This was a great fight, back and forth. Gave you everything that you had never seen. You saw Khamzat challenged. Only problem with this fight for me is that it was only 3 rounds. That fight, to me, is fight of the year. Most exciting fight of the year for me, I would go Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat Chimaev, 2022 fight of the year for your boy. Some of my favorite main events of the year, definitely Kobe versus Masvidal, the fight that I went and saw back in March, which that card is fucking crazy stacked, way much more stacked than I remember it being. Because I remember when as you guys should know, if you're like actual fight fans, you would know that that card was originally supposed to be like Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan 2, and then it got fucking so it's supposed to be Volkanovski Holloway 3 and Sterling Yan 2 was supposed to be on that card, but it got rescheduled. I bought tickets for that card when I thought I was gonna see Volkanovski, Holloway, and Jan Sterling. I bought those tickets for that card. Also, Dos Anjos Fiziev was supposed to be on that card as well. But even without that, that card was fucking stacked. Got Dustin Jacoby versus Michael Oleksiejczuk. That's crazy. That's a good ass fight. I'm gonna skip over some shit. Nikolai Negumoreno. Nigaremo. All right. Nikolai Nigaremo versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. Marina Rodriguez versus Yan Xiaonan. Jalen Turner versus Jamie Molarkey. Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. Like, this is a crazy card. Kevin Holland. I saw Kevin Holland fight live. I saw Kevin Holland, Sergey Spivak, Jalen Turner, Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barbosa. I was there. Rafael Dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. I was there, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all leading up to Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. And I loved being there and seeing Colby just put the fucking pause on Jorge Masvidal. He absolutely embarrassed that man. And definitely one of my favorite main events. Chito Vera versus Rob Font is one of my favorite main events of the year. As I mentioned, should definitely be in the running, if not some people's fight of the year. Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira. Definitely one of my favorite main events. Someone who could, as I was thinking, like, fuck, why not put him as potential fighter of the year? Chito Vera versus Dominic Cruz. Chito Vera had a great year. He's about to fight Corey Sandhagen in a fight that I personally favor Chito Vera. So shout out to Chito Vera. Let's say right here that Chito Vera is also fighter of the year. Another main event that is one of my favorites from the year. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. As you guys know, the beautiful corner work. Come on, Leon, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, the just beautiful corner work. One of my favorite moments in MMA. Ciryl Gane versus Taito Ivasa. Beautiful fight. Ciryl got dinked for a second, and I think he went to sleep. And then when he hit the ground, he woke up and was like, all right, I'm done playing. And put it on Ty. It was a great fight there. And also this last main event for the pay-per-view main event, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. I personally thought that was a phenomenal fight. I don't care what hating-ass presidents need to say about those fights. I thought that fight was great. And I'm going to get up out of here. Just as I said, it's not not feeling the best today. So thank you guys so much for being here another week. If you guys want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at babylon5podcast@gmail.com. If you guys would like to hit that like button anywhere that you're listening to this podcast, that I appreciate that so much. If you guys would like to follow this podcast on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Babylon5. If you guys would like to cop some merchandise, head on over to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche, be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod and you can be my patrons today. As I said, thank you guys so much for being here another week. Hopefully I'm feeling 1,000 times better next week. Hopefully I'm over all this shit, if I ever get over it. But yeah, thank you guys for being here another week. Episode 175, sick and tired. And I still am. And hopefully not next week. But I'll see you guys when I see you. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.